this is Dave from the Shepherd School, and today we're going to show you how to refill small propane tanks. I've got a bunch of these things. They only cost a couple bucks, and I use them for camping stove. Also got some projects coming up where we show you how to modify a lawnmower, specifically our lawnmower generator, to run on this stuff. It's really good, but it's kind of small, and they're disposable. As a matter of fact, on here it says, never refill this cylinder. Refilling may cause explosion. Federal law forbids transportation of refill. Penalty of up to $500,000 fine and 5 years imprisonment. That's part of the commercial code though, and it says transportation. So if you're going to use this for your personal use at the house, now I'm not a lawyer, and see the disclaimer, but for our purposes, we're not going to transport them. But the thing is, these aren't tested to be refilled, and so you need to treat them like they're going to leak. So if you're going to refill them, you need to keep them outside. Remember, this stuff is heavier than air, and it's got an expansion factor of 1 gallon of liquid turns into 270 gallons of gas if left uncombined. So you know, this could fill up a room really easily if you leave it inside and it leaks, and the next thing you know, you got your freezer cycles and sparks and you blow your house up. So if you're going to do this, you need to do it outside. You can buy an adapter. They're like $20 that just screws into this thing, and it fills just like that. But the problem is, these propane tanks are liquid, okay? And if you do it like that, you're only going to fill it just a little bit because you're just getting some expansion gases. If you shake this thing around, you'll feel the liquid inside of it. So what we need to do is fill it upside down so it actually fills up with the liquid, but that's kind of awkward. So what I've done, I've got some parts here. This is an adapter for the propane tank. It was like $3. This is another specialty adapter for the cylinder, and it was like $3. And then I got a little 1/4 inch ball valve, 1/4 inch pipe nipple, and an elbow. Okay, and we're just going to put it together like this. Okay, so we'll come back in a second, and I'll put it together with some Teflon tape, and we'll show you what it's going to look like. All right, here's our piece, and we use Teflon tape because we don't want any leaks. This goes to the can, and this hand wheel goes to the cylinder. Okay, and then it's got a valve. First, I'm going to show you, and I've got this on just so you can see that it's got gas in it. Okay, we're going to empty this to show you what's going on. So, on the blog, we're going to post some specific instructions for this because it helps if there's a temperature differential. Okay. But like I said, this is something that you should use some common sense for yourself, and really research this before that you try to do it.
OMG.
Alright. Here's what it looks like, and we're doing it this way because we're emptying this one, okay? So we've got everything screwed on. We've opened the propane tank. We've put a little soapy water on all the fittings to make sure they don't leak. And now we just turn it on, and this liquid will drain out into the tank. There'll be a little bit of residual gas left in there, but most of it should be out. There's a little pressure fitting over here that you need to pull out with a pair of needle-nose pliers to fit the gas out when you're filling it. We'll show you that in a second. So we're just going to let this drain, and then we'll come and I'll show you that we've emptied it, and then I'll show you, we'll refill it and show you that. Okay, so we've emptied it. And we've let the place air out. And I turn it on. And there's nothing in here. It's empty. Okay? Alright. Here's that relief valve I was telling you about. You're going to need to be able to get in there with a pair of Dingham's pliers and pull on it, and that'll release the pressure and let it get totally filled. However, when you do that, it can overfill, so you want to make sure that you weigh this thing, weigh a full cylinder, and then weigh your empty cylinder. Right? That'll tell you whether it's full or whether it's empty. Then after you refill it, you need to weigh it. You don't want to put in more than what a full cylinder weighs. Okay, because you got to worry about pressures, and if you happen to overfill it, you know, just release some of the gas. Best way to release the gas is to burn it. You don't want to just release it unconfined out into the atmosphere. If you burn it, then it's controlled. That's how they, if a propane tank or whatever releases, they'll hook a big burner to it and pull the propane off that way by burning it. If you if you Google the Waverly explosion, it'll tell you what this stuff can do if you're not careful with it. They had a propane tanker explode and basically take out a town. So this is definitely something that's going to take some respect. And like I said, this is not something anybody should do under any circumstances. And you might be able to hear it going in. We're not going to fill it all the way up because I've got to empty this thing for my to use as a crucible. We'll put a little bit of, and you can hear there's a little bit in there. Like I said, I didn't want to put a whole lot because I've got to empty this thing out, because that's what we're going to use to melt our aluminum with. We're going to show you this thing actually did fill. As you can tell, it actually did fill, and we're just going to let this burn out. We're just going to let this burn out because I need it empty. And I only did it for a second or two because I really didn't want to put a lot in there. I just wanted to show you that it could happen. Then what we're gonna do now for that crucible is we're gonna fill that thing up with water and drill into it and let it vent for a couple days before we cut it open and use it for a crucible. So really, that's all there is to it. And like I said, do the disclaimer: if you're gonna do this project, use a lot of common sense. Read up on propane. Make sure that you're able to get outside. This stuff can vent downhill. There's nothing anywhere near that's flammable. You never transport these things once they're refilled, and store them outside. Okay? So, until next time, you can catch us online at www.tngun.com. Thanks.
I've got a plan, fits my point of view. I'm getting